Hello everyone, Edain here, and welcome back to the Edain mod, where we are ranking the heroes for Belfalas. Now, before my most recent Belfalas game, I would have ranked a few of these heroes a little bit lower, because I wasn't reading all their abilities properly, or their abilities got reworked to some capacity. And I, again, just didn't pay attention, because I wasn't sure if I would like Belfalas or not. But I have been warming up to them. I do now think that Belfalas' hero roster, if it weren't smaller, would probably be the strongest out of the three: Gondor, Arnor, and Belfalas. Now, a lot of these are going to get ranked pretty highly. And again, for anyone who didn't already know, the way I'm going to be ranking them is between A and E. A for perfect, B for good, C for average, D for below average, and E for needs a rework. So let's begin with perhaps one of the strongest scout heroes in the game, Amraphos. And he is probably one of the strongest because of how expensive he is. But if we're taking that out of the account, because once you've got him, and he is a mounted scout hero, one of the only two heroes in the game that are scouts that can come with a permanent speed boost of the horse, he is A tier. Easily A tier, most likely the strongest scout hero in the game. Because not only does he have the one scouting tool every hero needs, vision range, like Pippin, like Merry, like I think that's the only two I can think of that have decent vision range. I mean, like look at this. That vision range is just as long, if not larger, than Pippin and Merry's vision range. And yes, that is his vision range. Look at that. And this is him on a horse, so he is way faster than any other scout hero other than the hunter for the Misty Mountains, who comes on a warg permanently. But you can mount and dismount, so you're not going to just die to revenge damage. Amraphos is really good, and that's just the start of it. He is also very militaristically capable with his Squire encampment, which is spend an extra 300. You can build a Squire encampment, which makes permanently cheaper. Basically cheaper Gondor troops, similar to Denethor's emergency mobilization. But from a separate building, so you can even get archers if you don't have an archery range, like that one there. He can then also buff his nearby squires by giving them extra experience gain for 30 seconds, which then gives them a formation, because, believe it or not, these are actually better than the Gondor troops that are brought through emergency mobilization. Might have weaker stats, but the extra ability like that does help. Then also you can fortify the encampment. If I'm able to get a good camera angle, will it let me do it from here? Nope, got to do this, I guess, and get closer. Yep, you can now fortify the encampment to give it a garrison to defend it of Squire archers, but also, if we read this here, Squire encampment gains more health, heals nearby enemies, shoots arrows at enemies, and squires are now all recruited at level 2. So not only can you get really cheap units that, yes, they can't get upgrades, but just like with Immersive Mobilization, Boromir with the One Ring can give them forged blades and heavy armor. Secretly busted, if you use it properly. I have actually shown it off in one of my earlier Belfalas videos, way back when Belfalas was first introduced. Yes, Amraphos is amazing. He has no wasted invisibility ability. He doesn't have to have a whole slot filled in just to get his level up. He then gets that filled in with a Squire encampment. He buffs those troops, and then gives those troops a permanent level up boost, extra defense on the building, and look how fast that's coming back. I've been waffling on for about a minute now, 2 minutes, of saying how good this guy is, and it's already almost back. Amazing hero, A tier, easily. Next up we have Lothiliel, who is, again, just Denethor or Malbeth in a different skin, with a few changed abilities. And for me, I think that she is also B tier, like Malbeth. Mainly because Denethor's abilities are better. But yeah, she has the Advanced Scouts, which is just the same as looking into the Palantir or having the Gift of Farsight. We can now see half the map, just with one ability. And that levels her up. So then you can get her other abilities, which Champion of the Princess is a weird one. This is basically the ability that Arwen gets, just with a few differences. For one bandit carrier now gives the allies in a close vicinity, bonus damage and armor, which is the same as a level 10 ability, by the way, with her summons. But yeah, also resistance to fear and terror cannot be used on squires, so it has to be a fully fledged Belfalasian troop, or Dol Amroth troop, as I probably should have said, because that makes much more sense. Tarnos Frontier Guard as well. Then you've got a weird one, Gifts of the Sea. So, for example, on this map, you can see we have no ports. We have a creek, basically, of a small cropping of water, like the Fords of Isen. So we have no ports. This ability, with no ports, is useless. All it can do is give a lighthouse bonus vision range. Which, if we use it, let's have a look at that extra vision range in action. And see how good it actually is.
Your efforts did not go unnoticed.
I can now see the wall glare. Yeah, it's comparable to the... I'd say it's about... this. Actually, no, it is weaker. It is way weaker than the Malon Tree abilities of Lothlorien. I can only be used on these little buildings here, which also, by the way, only discount fishing boats if you have the ability to make fishing boats. However, the second you can make fishing boats is when this actually gets good. Bonus resources and bonus health permanently for a fishing boat, which is making you periodic money. Amazing. Amazing when you can actually make ships, which unfortunately, for half the Belfalas maps, you can't. So it's an unfortunate... You can use it if it's good, you can't use it if... But it's bad if you can't use it. Then you have the Heroic Defense, which is the opposite of Denethor's ability. Instead of extra damage and no experience gain, she gives you no experience gain, but bonus armor. Are both of them good? Yes. Can this one be used to more quickly destroy an enemy citadel? No. Can it be used to protect your army from being destroyed in a terrible situation? Yes. If you're in a terrible situation, can you use that to then help her get away along with the rest of your heroes? Yes. So this is a panic button ability. You use it when you need to, otherwise you're never going to use it, honestly. The experience gain for which can give you bonus damage if you level up, by the way, can be better than the bonus armor. You use it in a brawl where you don't think you're going to win without using it. Then you have Captain of the Princess, the same as the other abilities for Denethor and Malbeth, more summons, and a chance of a captain which gives your nearby allies bonus and damage and armor. Really good, solid hero, B tier for sure though. Then we have Elfia, the version of Beregond for, what's it called, Belfalas. He is also a B tier hero. And there's a lot of his abilities are very similar to Beregond's, mainly Hold Ground and Bulwark of the South. All buildings gain quadruple armor for 30 seconds, and target building regenerates nearby allies. However, the big difference is these can't target heroes because your last ability is not the same as Beregond's. Your first ability also is changed, which instead of summoning defenders for a building, you now just make allied soldiers and ships near the targeted building have bonus armor, and nearby ships and buildings will be repaired. So, for example, this building now is going to get slowly healed up over time because you don't have rebuild as Belfalas, you have the Loyalists of Harrendor. So they basically flip the script with Belfalas. They don't get the rebuild, but instead they get Beregond's ability, slightly weaker, as a level 1 power, also giving the building extra armor. And Elfia gives the building regeneration instead of a instant heal. So it's a weird one, flipping the scripts. But it does also make your allies around the building tankier, so it's okay. I don't know why I had to mention ships as well, but yeah, it works. Hold Ground we already talked about, same as Beregond. Bulwark of the South, same as Beregond. Officer Training, however, is a very nice ability. Targeted military building will now recruit units at level 2. Having this ability saves you 600 resources on banner carriers, because it can work on, let me just double check, 1, 2, 3. All of your military buildings can get level 2 units permanently with this ability. Really good.
On my way.
And then finally, the Master of Ships, which is, again, if you cannot make ships, this ability does not do much. Because it's defending the building that makes your ships cheaper, and also gets you sailors, I guess, which is okay. They're your version of Athelian Rangers, but we're going to go into that when we get to Achilleon. But yeah, all military ships are discounted by 25% and have extra armor. All lighthouses have guards protecting them permanently. And the officers around that have the banner carrier surrounding this give your sailors extra vision range. That also does include the sailors from these buildings if you do make them, I believe. I will be checking that out soon.
There is much work.
But yeah, Elfir, just like with Araphant before him, I think he's a B tier. He buffs troops. He defends buildings. He's very good, but compared to Baragon, he just isn't there. Just not quite there. But it's not that he's bad. It's that I'm comparing him to Baragon because they are all basically the same, in the same hero category. They do very much the same thing, and two of these abilities are just copy-pasted. Which isn't bad. I'm just saying that it is what it is. Next we come to Kilion, which is a very weird one. A permanently ranged hero in a faction that has, in their archery range, one ranged hero. These are none of these are able to make. That's not your sailors. That's just all your other things for increasing the value of your ships. Fishing ships now have defenders. You can get sea bows to grant range to dreadnoughts and armor of battleships. Enemies attacked by armor of battleships have their armor and attack reduced. And then fire arrows. The only way to get sailors is through Kilion and through a lighthouse. But yeah, overall, Kilion is going to be a B tier. He's good, but let's just talk about his abilities. So, for one, he can boost all fiefdom troops by 30% damage, extra attack damage, which is good. The problem is, though, he is a ranged hero. Even on a horse, he is a ranged hero. So unless you're trampling with him, with cavalry, which again, he doesn't buff those troops, he only buffs the sailors, which, sure, if you do focus on getting sailors, he can do a lot of really good damage. If you want to build like Lothlorien.
Smell that.
If you focus around him, he can give them some pretty decent damage. You can then also do the assist from the shores. This is the ability you need to use to get sailors. And composite bows from your lighthouses. It's not about leveling them up to level 3 like it is for Gondor and Arnor. It's just about having this hero who you can get from a lighthouse or a signal fire, by the way. He can come from either because he buffs both those troops. Then he has his crippling shot, which is the same as the crippling shot for, I've already forgotten his name, Faramir. But the reason why he is not Faramir ranked at C as well is because of this ability here, Hero of the Fiefs. Kieran has bled for the defense of even the most remote fishing villages in the Fiefs and is considered their greatest defender by his people, who will always answer his call. The target errand rider immediately gains full charges, allowing him to carry the call for any reinforcement. So let's just quickly run this guy down to 6 or 7 even, whatever. Let's just use all of his, as many of them as we can, until there's only one left. Because otherwise the errand rider doesn't exist. Hero of the Fiefs. Immediately 14. I have to summon an entire army, which I cannot fully summon. And I'm still going to be getting even more after that now. And let's not forget, assistance in times of need exists. So, what does that mean, if anyone that didn't know? Assistance in times of need, when used on a signal fire, will turn any and all summoned troops to basically fully upgraded Giga Chads with Forged Blades and Heavy Armor. I can't believe I just said that. But yeah, Forged Blades, Heavy Armor, Fire Arrows. The bottom ability, the Request A from all the fiefdoms, gives them all banner carriers. As you can see here, they're already level 2. But yeah, Kirion just turns a signal fire basically back to what it used to be, where you could just cheat out all those fiefdoms, but it's not actually cheating them out because it's actually using an ability. This is what makes Kirion, in my opinion, better than Faramir, not better than Aranarth. But yeah, as a support hero, he is good. He has some really powerful abilities, which look how fast that's coming back, by the way. By the time you've got all those fiefdom troops, you can do it all again. He can just spam out stuff constantly. But as a hero in himself, you need to have him in the front lines to make the most out of his buff from being Sailor Prince. His Archer of the Shore ability is unfortunately a bit wasted. I wish they would change this ability. if they change this, I would consider making Kirion an A tier hero. If they make this like a summon ability, or a summon a shipyard, a port ability that doesn't make summon one of these buildings that doesn't make resources, but makes sailors, and also gets buffed from Elfia, I might lose my mind, and this guy might become A tier. Then we have Boromir, who I'm just going to quickly speedrun. He's a B tier. We already know how good he is. He's exactly the same as he is in Gondor. Very hard to kill off to begin with. I didn't read his ability last time. That has been changed. Hold on. Boromir does more damage, slows nearby hero by focusing common knockdown for this time. Oh, okay, this is telling him about what happens when he's dying. Oh, right. I thought this was while he was still before death. Ability will be activated when the health bar is depleted. And yeah, Boromir reduces the damage of his targets by 20% for 5 seconds of every attack. Yeah, that's what Boromir always does. I thought that was changed for some reason. Then Horn of Gondor, Ear of Gondor, Brave Resistance, and the Veterans of Osgiliath. The only difference with Boromir's position is you don't get him from the barracks this time, you get him from the outpost. So he's a little bit harder to get, but he's still exactly the same, so he's a B tier hero to me. Now, Imrahil, this Imrahil is A tier for 2 big reasons. One downside to him is that his ability that used to be one of his passives has been changed up to his ability up here, and it only works on cavalry. Nearby cavalry gain extra armor, damage and armor, or damage even. So that already is one ability taken from his passive list and taken up to here, which is already saving up a new ability. He can mount and dismount as before, but now he has Sally. 3 knights surge from his position, trampling all units in the target area. Additional knights are summoned at level 4 and level 8. So at level 10, that is 7 knights charging at full speed, like the ability of Elrond. Which, by the way, I hardly ever use Elrond. I love using that ability on Elrond. So the fact that this now exists on a hero you can get from your barracks or your stables is amazing. Next up, you have For Honor, the same as before. Discipline, same as before. And the Atheling Guard, same as before. So what's the difference? Why am I making Imrahil A tier when he's only had like 2 changes? One new ability, and his ability's been nerfed to only buff cavalry and not fiefdom units on top of the Dol Amroth troops. It's because of discipline. For a short time, units of Dol Amroth near Imrahil will heal themselves with every attack. Cavalry heal twice as much as infantry. Do you not remember which faction we're in? Belfalas unit. Belfalas unit. Belfalas. These are all Dol Amroth troops. These are all being buffed by discipline. And again, let's just show off that amazing animation. I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong. But if I'm not, he is obviously A tier. Because that means all your units from your faction, from your main base, are now being healed with every attack. And that ability gets charged down faster when you have the Atheling Guard. Who, again, by the way, if you didn't remember from the Gondor video, also have permanent discipline. So they're permanently healing themselves with every attack. Insane. Imrahil is insane in Dol Amroth. And should always be, well, in Belfalas, and should always be considered for this faction straight away. Because the ability to heal at level 6 for your entire faction is ridiculous, and I love it. And then finally we come again to Gandalf, the same as with Gondor, but not the same as Arnold, because you can make him Gandalf the White. I just didn't get the PowerPoints this time, because I forgot about it at the last second. But yeah, Gandalf is exactly the same as with Gondor. Amazing hero, very little weakness, other than being a little bit weak in his... Just being squishy. He's expensive and he's squishy. But you know, word of power. Works every time. Gandalf is just that hero to never mess with, unless you know you can mess with him and take him out of the equation. And yet, because he can become Gandalf the White, my words are being I'm getting tongue twisted. Because he can become Gandalf the White, his abilities do more damage at base, and then he can even become Gandalf, the Challenge Master, which is insane when used with everything else because he heals everything permanently. We've shown off before how powerful Gandalf is when he gets the One Ring. It's incredible. And that is all of Belfalas' roster. Comparing them to Gondor and comparing them to Arnor. Against Gondor, it's a tight fight. It's very difficult to compare Gondor and Arnor, the Gondor and Belfalas, because they are very similar. We have Elfir, who's very similar to Baragon. We have Boromir, same as Boromir. Imrahil, near the same as other Imrahil. And Gandalf, same as Gandalf. The main fact is the fact they're missing one hero compared to Gondor's roster, which is actually Aragorn, if you think about it, because they don't have any real hero-killing potential among their heroes. That comes from their base faction. But Amraphos being a better scout hero overall, even if he is more expensive, I think with this they are neck and neck. Gondor and Belfalas' hero rosters are neck and neck with how good they are. It's just that Gondor Belfalas not having rebuild and not having Aragorn and having to get Aragorn only through this power. And they will get Faramir through this power instead of the Grey Company from here. It's just the fact the powers are different that makes Belfalas and Gondor different. On top of a few other factors like, them having a very naval focus with their upgrades from the archery range and such. A few little things that at first I wasn't sure about. I have been warming up to Belfalas more and more over time. And I hope everyone else has been as well with how much I've just been hyping up the heroes of Belfalas. Hope you've all enjoyed and learnt something from this. We'll be moving on to the next factions very soon. And I'll see you all in the next one. Farewell.